Hello again. Today we're going to talk about phase angles and cancer. Most people don't know what a phase angle is at all. They think we're talking about geometry, but we're not talking about geometry. We're talking about a measurement that you can measure in a clinic to measure the health of a cell membrane. So let's jump right into this and talk about what a phase angle is. Well, a phase angle is a ratio between the reactance and the resistance. Uh, Big words that you don't understand when you're talking about what are we measuring, what's the reactance and the resistance. Well, really two little electrodes are placed on the feet and two on the hands, and this machine puts a little teeny measure of resistance, a little teeny electrode through the skin. You can't even feel it. And it measures the reactance and resistance of that electrode from the hand down to the foot. And by putting it into a computer program, it gives us what's called the bioelectrical impedance. So that's what a phase angle is your cell impedance. So it's really measuring, in short, the health of the cell membrane. So all your cells have a wall around them. That's what we call them with plants. We call them cell walls. With animals, humans, we call them cell membranes. That membrane is made up of a phospholipid bilayer. That's for a phosphorus group and a lipid that's attached, a phosphorus group attached to the end of a long lipid. And it's a bilayer, meaning that there's two layers of this phospholipids. So it's actually a hydrophilic and a hydrophobic, and we won't get too much into that. But that's the cell membrane. The cell membrane has all these different receptors in it. It goes three-dimensionally around a cell, and then in the cell is the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm is kind of a gelatinous water. It's water in a certain state that makes it gelatinous, and that's where all the organelles are little T organs inside the cell that do all sorts of things. You have thousands of mitochondria, lysosomes, all sorts of ribosomes, all sorts of different things. And in the center of that cell is a nucleus. So that's what is a cell, and that's what the health of our body is the health of our cells. So if our cells go rogue and start replicating rapidly, that's what's called cancer. We want to measure the cell membrane integrity. It's not measuring any specific organ, it's just measuring a general cell membrane integrity. That's what a phase angle is. So it doesn't make a difference what type of cancer, what type of disease you have. It's just giving us a number. So that's what we're measuring with this number. So what is a normal phase angle? Well, phase angle will really be measured from 0 to about 11, 11.5. The younger you are, the higher phase angle you will have. The highest I think we've ever had with somebody was, I think, 10 something, 10 point something. I can't remember. I used to treat some of the Minnesota Vikings players. They're at the prime of their health, and they would be in the 8s, 9s. But really, someone who's 9 years old would have a higher phase angle. They're healthier. They have picked up less toxins so far in their life. And that's the biggest thing that decreases a person's phase angle is the health of their cell membrane or the ill health of the cell membrane. So what causes ill health of the cell membrane? Well, all sorts of things can get embedded in the cell membrane that are unhealthy. That's the bad thing about trans fats, these large fats, long chain fats, that they can actually get embedded and actually transpose your phospholipid bilayer, and the trans fats actually can technically like plasticize your cell membranes. And then there's no room for the receptors that need to actually turn things on and off and allow things to get inside the cell and allow, that's a big part of apoptosis is receptor health. So all sorts of different things lower our phase angle. Age will lower our phase angle. As we get older, we're going to have a lower phase angle. Even if you do everything to stay healthy, you can still have a lower phase angle. Exposure to toxins, exposure to poisons, unhealthy lifestyle, bad choices in food, etc., can lower our phase angle. Disease will lower our phase angle. Cancer patients can have a phase angle anywhere really between 4 and 6.5. We really want to see our cancer patients when we start with them on our 2-day intensive to have a phase angle of 5.5 or greater. That would be best. We've had people in the 2s before, people in the 3s. They're going to be less healthy people. So it's just where you are is where you are. It's like, okay, well, we got work to do and we got to get this person healthier. What we really look for on a phase angle with a cancer patient is how it's moving. And I realize when we see somebody from Florida on a 2-day and they never come back up here to get that measured again, we can't even measure it again. So, but you can find another clinic that will measure your phase angle. And that's where a lot of the studies are with cancer is which direction is that phase angle going throughout care. So a low phase angle may suggest deterioration or loss of healthy charge of that cell membrane, like we spoke of. And a low phase angle can show that the cancer is advancing and the overall survival is going to be reduced in a cancer patient if their phase angle is dropping. So if a person comes in and their phase angle is 6.0 and they're undergoing chemotherapy, and chemotherapy is probably one of the most toxic things that damage your phase angle. Okay, what are you damaging? You're damaging the cell health, the cell membrane health. So if you are doing chemotherapy, then you can definitely damage the cell membrane and you can drop the phase angle. Matter of fact, there's numerous studies. Matter of fact, most of the studies that are done with phase angle are done with cancer patients. That's really what really put phase angle on the map. And if a person's phase angle is dropping rapidly, it's not a good sign. So it's again measuring cell membrane integrity. So how can I improve my phase angle? What can I do to get my phase angle up? It was only 4.5 when I started. What can I do to get it up? Well, everything that you're doing, everything that we put you on as far as your program is designed to increase your phase angle. Why didn't you tell me that before? Because that's not important. It's designed to get you better. And if your phase angle goes up, you're getting better. So a phase angle is a measurement of, are you getting better or are you not getting better, literally. So it's cell membrane health is the phase angle. So detoxification is very important. So detoxing from the cell membrane, getting rid of the fats that are embedded in the cell membrane, the unhealthy fats, the toxins, the heavy metals that are embedded in the cell membrane is very important. So detoxification is really key to improving cell membrane. Generally improving overall health, your diet, your nutrition, your outlook on life, your attitude, all those things are going to improve the health of the cell membrane. And then increasing healthy fats. This is a phospholipid bilayer. So increasing healthy fats is going to help with the cell membrane. But by doing this just by itself without doing other things is probably going to budge the phase angle at all. But the healthy fats that you want to improve on to help your cell membranes is phosphatidylcholine. That's the PC Bio here. That's the phosphatidylcholine. That's a direct piece that fits into your cell membrane. And PEOs, parent essential oils. This is the product is the fatty acid liquescents. So fatty acid liquescents are parent essential oils that are good fats for your cell membranes. Omega-3s can break down to be beneficial for cell membranes too. So good fats, eating good foods, eating fish, salmon that has good omega-3s and good parent essential oils in it are good things to add to help improve your cell membrane. The rife is a key component to improving cell membrane because that's what's adding charge to your cell membrane directly. The PEMF is also, so I listed that as well. So, but the rife is adding charge to the cell based upon the frequency of the cell itself. So when we're hitting your liver cells with the rife, we're bringing resident back to that cell, and that's doing wonders to help improve the cell membrane and the charge of the cell membrane, because that's really, again, what we're measuring. And yes, the PEMF, somebody asked a question, is a great thing to help improve the cell membrane too. So you're just adding charge to the cell, adding charge to the cell membrane. The health of the cell membrane equals the health of the person. And you will see that directly. Study after study shows that as a person's cell or phase angle drops, it's a picture of their overall health. So if a person's phase angle is plummeting, their overall health is plummeting, and it's not a good outcome usually with that. So we want to do everything we can. So everything that we are doing for you is aimed at improving the health of your cells. And when we say we're improving the health of your cells, we're talking about, we can measure it with the phase angle. All right, now I'm going to unmute you, and you can ask questions. Somebody did ask a question about coconut oil. Well, coconut oil is what I would consider a parent essential oil in some definitions of the term. So coconut oil is a good fat to use. Is a higher power Rife system an advantage to improving phase angle and cell health? No, I would not say so. It's the frequency that you're using with the Rife, not the power that you're using. And that, so I will say that even lower power PEMF units can be beneficial in this case too. So, you know, when you're at the office, we have the pulse machine, which is a high power, or the high power PEMF, the high power, high frequency PEMF. But we also have the Sequix, which is a low power, low frequency PEMF. The Sequix is just as helpful as far as improving the charge of the cell membrane as the pulse is. So they both have that advantage. So if you have a lower power PEMF like a Beamer or a IMRS unit at home, or one of our home units, that could be just as beneficial as far as cell membrane health goes. It just has some shortcomings as far as like inflammation goes. Okay, open it up to questions. What other questions? So somebody asked, can we test phase angle at home? If you have the RJL machine that we have, yes, you could. I actually had a patient that had pancreatic cancer a number of years ago that he bought that machine so he could measure his phase angle. They're not real cheap. So he's the only person I've ever known that's bought one. So most clinics don't have them. I know the Cancer Treatment Centers of America has them. They use them all the time. Again, most of the studies are with cancer patients. So most non-cancer patients clinics, most non-cancer clinics are not going to have a tool to measure the phase angle. Okay, any questions?
Dr. Connors, how often would you measure a phase angle?
Well, the phase angle isn't going to budge very quickly. So it's not something like, oh, I ate really good this week. Can I measure it? Oh, it went up 2 points. Oh, I ate really bad and now it dropped 2 points. It's not going to work that way. So there's no real need to measure the phase angle more than maybe once every quarter maximum. It's really not going to budge that quickly. So if a person just, completely changed their whole lifestyle and their diet, now they're using a Rife and they're doing a sauna and they're helping detox and they're, change their diet completely, eating correctly and on really good nutrition, and they're now using their Rife, they could have changes in 3 months. But let's say they were at a 5.3 when they came here, it might go up to 5.5. We've had it jump faster than that with some people, but it's been rare. We've had it fall faster than that with some people, but that's not real common either. So, and that's usually if a person's, where we've really seen it really plummet is if a person goes back and does chemo, and they just, their whole health, plummets as well. And you can measure it on a phase angle, and you can see it be pretty low. So,
Dr. Connors,
uh-huh.
this is Thelma. Hi. I was wondering, I don't know if that ever got done since I'm not there in your area.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know if it ever got done on me, but do you have resources where I could go here and in St. Louis maybe, or?
We could look up St. Louis. Let me do a little research. Trying to think if I know somebody in St. Louis area.
Okay.
Let me do a little research on that.
All right. That'd be great.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
I don't remember what mine was. This is Jana. I don't remember when I was out there. I don't remember where it was at or anything. Is there a way to find that out?
Yeah, it's on your chart. So we can email it to you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. So you can ask questions outside of this. What other questions does anybody have? Maybe not pertaining to phase angle.
I had another question. I was reading about a lady using molecular hydrogen to cure her breast cancer or whatever. Have you any thoughts or opinions on drinking it or inhaling it?
Yeah, so hydrogen water, molecular hydrogen, and hydrogen tablets used in water to increase the hydrogen content of the water have been big and kind of hot topics in the nutritional world in the last couple of years. There's pros and cons that you have to be aware of. So if a person has specific genetic defects, when the girls go over a person's genetic profile, that may be something that they recommend. So there can be benefits to hydrogen in that sense based upon a person's genetic profile. Number two, there can be benefits to grab reactive oxygen and reactive nitrogen species, especially in the gut, if we think that's going on. And that's usually if there's a high amount of toxins in the gut, not biotoxins, but inert toxins. So a biotoxin is a living organism. An inert toxin is, let's say the person has mercury toxicity or something that's some other heavy metal toxin or glyphosate toxicity, and it's really affecting the gut badly. That's where molecular hydrogen can really shine. The danger of molecular hydrogen is if a person has a biotoxin. So if a person has a biotoxin like H. pylori, then actually molecular hydrogen can make the problem worse. And there's several research articles that came out on that, and I'd have to pull them up and we could do a Zoom call about it if we wanted to. But the bottom line is if you have a biotoxin in the gut, Lyme disease, H. pylori is what most of the studies were done on, then molecular hydrogen actually makes the problem worse and actually feeds the H. pylori and can make it grow more. Now the problem with that is, well, what's H. pylori? I don't have H. pylori. Well, the truth is probably 80% of the population have H. pylori overgrowth to some degree. H. pylori is Helicobacter pylori. It's a gram-negative bacteria. It is the cause of stomach ulcers, but it can go intracellular and into the bloodstream. It is one of the top 5 causes of coronary heart disease. Coronary heart disease, according to the research right now, is still the #1 cause of death in the United States. And H. pylori is, according to all the research, one of the top 5 causes of coronary heart disease. So that's how prevalent H. pylori is. H. pylori is the #1 cause of stomach cancer, according to the World Health Organization, worldwide. H. pylori is very prevalent. Personally, that's why I'm really high on berberine. So I personally take berberine at least 3 times a week because it's really good for cancer, number one. Berberine can really be a great cancer killer, but berberine is the key H. pylori killer. And my dad had a heart attack at 57 years old, ended up dying of heart disease and kidney disease because he never took care of himself. And he had ulcer issues. I know he had H. pylori issues. So if you have heart disease in your family, you probably got H. pylori in your family. H. pylori is highly contagious. Matter of fact, according to the Merck manual, you're supposed to treat the person with H. pylori. If he doesn't get better or he's reinfected within 30 days, the treatment schedule is then you treat him and the whole family, including the family pets. So that's how prevalent H. pylori is. So that's why we don't use hydrogen water. So it has its benefits as a free radical scavenger, but it has its negatives as a feeder of H. pylori and other biotoxins. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Connors, now my brain is going. Because I am the one who took the microhydrin
I know.
capsules.
And I explained this to you, but I know it probably went zoom over your head when I did.
Well, I mean, and it's all coming full circle, but you know, I'm still, I mean, just so everyone else who's online knows, I mean, almost immediately I began to have what felt like worms and snakes all through my intestines. And I called Dr. Connors and he said, oh boy, you know, you're dealing with H. pylori. So I've been taking what you said faithfully, you know, and it's been what, 3 weeks maybe, but I am still dealing with some of those issues.
So let's bring everybody else up to speed. You went to a seminar in your area and heard somebody speak about this product.
Yep.
And it was a hydrogen product, and you started taking this hydrogen product, and then you got worse. And then you called me and I said, well, you probably got H. pylori because that's a hydrogen product and you're worse after that. That's a pretty good sign that that's what it is. So I gave you the HPLR, I think, which has got berberine and some other things in it. And it's a product by Apex that was developed just for H. pylori. And so it's just could take some time. So that's just what it is. And that's why it's a nasty bacteria that as it overgrows. So H. pylori has several different species to it, and there are some species that are a part of our normal gut biome, and so it could easily grow out of control without our immune system recognizing it as a bad guy. So that's the reason why it could become such a nasty thing, because your immune system doesn't necessarily recognize it as growing out of control because it's normally a part of the biome. So it's easy to it's easy for it to go crazy. So yeah, you have to stay on it. That's why, again, that's why I take the Vermiclear. Literally, I've taken that stuff for years. And I don't take it every day, but I'm taking at least three times a week, just because I know that that's so prevalent, and I know that, I have a family history of that. So.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Janet.
All right. So my next question is, when they did the genetics testing, it did show that I had tendencies towards heart disease and strokes, but I chose to not. I can't remember. It's not in front of me what the supplement was that was recommended, but I chose to not take that. Get that right now. And I'm thinking, after everything you're just saying and me dealing with these issues of H. pylori, that maybe I should be taking that after all.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, no.
Okay. because I'm doing the Berber Clear, and then I'm also on, also taking the HPLR that you told me to take.
Yep. So keep up with those. And when you're having these gut issues, it's probably still in the gut. So, and it will, the berberine and the other stuff that's in the HPLR will circulate in your bloodstream and help kill it too. So I wouldn't necessarily, that doesn't really equate to the necessarily heart issues.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just this is like so enlightening. And I just want to say thank you again. I'm just so blessed. I just learned so much, and it's so enlightening to me. And I am very, very thankful.
Well, you're very welcome. I'm glad you actually like to learn. So not everybody does.
Dr. Connor?
Yes.
Me again. Yeah, I want to repeat. I will also vote for I Love to Learn. And we spoke the other day, and we talked about the mercury. I had mercury taken out of my teeth, and I was feeling bad. I talked to you, and you said run the arm cleanse, which I did, and I actually felt better right away.
Oh, good.
So I've been doing it. That was this is going to be tonight. It will be the third day, and the first day was pretty dark, but the second day actually got much better. But,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I guess I wanted to know if, then I went to my doctor, and he told me that he pulled up some lab tests and well, my monthly ones, and all of my labs are really low, including him, all of them. And see, everything's the lowest it's ever been.
Can you send me those so I can see what he's talking about?
Yes, I will do that. And what I'm wondering is that because maybe it's, is my immune system fighting mercury coming out of the body?
Or it's hard to say that until I see what numbers are actually low.
Yeah. Well, okay. The NT's 900, all of them, white blood count. But I usually run low. It's just much lower this time.
Okay. Well, send me those, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. Oh, and one more thing. And you talked to me about bloating, and I said, it's better, but actually, not really.
So the bloating is still there?
It's still there.
All right. So that might correlate to the blood test. So.
Okay. So I'll send you that. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Dennis Baldridge here. A couple quick fire questions. Since phase angle is measured, like I think you said, from hand to foot, does it just measure along the surface, or does it measure the internally as well?
No, it's measuring it internally. So it's putting a little electrical impulse in through those little sticky things that are on your skin.
Right.
Then
Okay.
it's picking it up down at your feet and seeing the impedance. So if you had lotion on your skin, going down, or you were just out sun tanning and you had suntan oil on or something, that wouldn't affect it at all.
Okay. And do I understand correctly? You said like phase angle then was a good indication of like overall health?
Yeah, well, it's a really good indication of it. Again, it is a measurement of how healthy your cells are. So how healthy your cells are a good indication of overall health. So if my phase angle is 2.5, I quite honestly probably don't have very long to live. So it's if my phase angle is 7.0, you have stage 4 cancer and your phase angle is 7.0, that is fantastic. The chance of you beating this is pretty darn high. So your phase angle is 5.5, well, that's okay, but we also don't know what it was before you got cancer, so it's, we just want to build it up. I always like to see our patients over 5.5, but, we've had patients in the 2s again. So, but that's not a good outcome. So,
Okay.
Again, it's like, so it's an arbitrary number. How do I know if that's good or not? Well, is there some level of genetic predisposition to a healthier phase angle? Well, sure, just as much as there is a genetic predisposition to somebody living to 105 years old. They they have just healthier cell membranes. Overall, you could, when you look at your phase angle, you want it to, you know, stay the same or rise throughout your course of treatment. It's with it, if it starts to drastically drop is where you start to get a little concerned.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Well, I know we that some people had sent in some other questions on their emails, and that I didn't get to them today. I think myself and Michelle will probably make some short videos this week or early next week. I have to go speak this weekend at in Ohio to, I guess there's going to be about 500 people there. I'm talking on cancer and Lyme to kind of an Amish community there. So I covet your prayers for that. And then
Absolutely.
next week, thank you. Next week we'll get, if I don't get any videos done before that, we'll get some done next week about those questions. So again, if you have questions that you don't feel comfortable asking live on the Zoom call, or you can't be on the Zoom call, please send them to the email, but please put in the subject line Zoom call questions so we can easily search for them, because we get hundreds of emails literally a day. All right, thank you very much for participating. We'll get this recording on YouTube and up on the Facebook page. Appreciate all of you. Love you all.
Thank you.
Too. Thank
Love
you
you
so
too.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.